Hello, welcome to Skye Sweaty Record Review, episode 69. It's the only new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after getting off the elliptical at the YMCA. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I've got kind of a full house. My kids are trying to be quiet. I think they're playing Mario. But today I'm going to be reviewing a band that I actually saw once with my children. And I don't mean like I saw them in concert. I mean like I saw them on the street. So I'm going to be reviewing Deadmau5, or as I like to call him, Deadmau5. And if you don't know about him, you know, he's from Toronto. So I was in Toronto once with my kids, and we were walking by this like electronic dance music store. You know, I don't know, it's like one of these little boutiques. And they had a whole display of Deadmau5. And at the time, my kids and I were listening to a fair amount of his music. And I was like, oh, look, Deadmau5. And then as like someone opens up the door and walks out right as I say that, and this guy has like a neck tattoo, he's got all these tattoos on his arms, kind of scrawny looking dude, and he looks at me like with this sort of like, ugh. But then I don't follow it up because I didn't know who it was, and then the guy just walks by. Like a week later, I look in a magazine, I see what Deadmau5 looks like, you know, without his crazy mouse ears, and I'm like, that's the guy. So I saw him. There's no content to that story, except for the amusement of him going, oh great, more fans, but I didn't recognize him. So the whole thing about Deadmau5, you know, is he hides himself in his mask, and you don't really know who he is. And then if you listen to his music, you can't really tell what it is that he does. Like, I don't know. Like, is he talented? Is he not? There used to be this commercial. If you hear click clacking, that's my dog. Now he's making noise. My kids are quiet, but my dog is clicking clacking. Oh, he needs to go out. But he's doing better, by the way. If you watched a couple of videos ago, he was sick. He's doing better now. So like, there's this whole commercial on YouTube for the master class with Deadmau5, and he's all like, you know, this all exact quote from him is, 90% of my time, I just fool around until I find something. So, like, that's not exactly the greatest indicator that you're going to be listening to a great artist. And it seems like so much of what he does is just automated. So, I don't know. I gave it a shot with this album, Mau5ville Level 3. I guess there's Level 1. I guess there's Level 2. I don't know. I don't listen that much to Deadmau5. It's not a very promising title, though. It sounds like a third level of a video game. And I don't know. Electronic dance music often sounds like a video game. So there is one song I really liked. And we're going to get to that song at the very end. But I'm going to get through sort of the bad stuff. Because for the most part, it's not that memorable of an album. The second track is one of two tracks by Deadmau5 on this album. It's got kind of like a nice arpeggiator. It's called Glitch. Or Glitch. It's got a V in there. It's got nice atmosphere, but it reminded me of one of the things he says in that Masterclass commercial. He's like, this is the cardinal sin of EDM, just pressing one button and having it play all the music. That's kind of how it sounds with this arpeggiator. And then the album just goes off the rails. Then there's like collaborations that are boring. There's one rap collaboration, and then there's one kind of ballad collaboration with some singer. And then there's two remixes of each of them. And for the most part, the remixes are not that interesting. You know, they're like trancey remixes where they take like one word from the original and just cut it up a bunch of times. And so that's Deadmau5 with somebody. So it starts off with two Deadmau5 songs, then Deadmau5 with somebody, and then the last two tracks are just other people. It's not even Deadmau5. It's the ship of Theseus. It's the, you know, Houdini's wand. You know, like the original Houdini's wand was like cut into pieces and put into other wands, and then those wands were cut up. So you know you might have a magic wand, and you might call it Houdini's wand, but there's no elements of Houdini's original wand in there. And that's kind of where you are here. Except what was Deadmau5 in the first place? What is actually the content of what makes Deadmau5 music Deadmau5 music? And these last two tracks, which are not bad, but they're fairly standard, you know, 100 BPMs, you know, beats per minute, right around there. Kind of trancey. Nothing surprising happens. The second one has some woodblock. That's like the only real defining feature. I came to a realization while listening to these songs. This is basically like screensaver music. So in the old days of computers, there used to be a thing where like we want like screens would burn out if they had the same image on it for too long. So companies would make these screensavers, with like little shapes and stuff. They would just sort of move around the screen or like make little fractal shapes or stuff like that, Like the best ones were always the ones where you were sort of hoping it would land right in the corner, but it never did. It always kind of bounced off the edges. Screensavers are awesome. I mean, I would actually watch screensavers for hours. That's what we used to do before Netflix. And they're not quite art, but they're sort of art. Like someone had to create the screensavers, and a good screensaver is better than a bad screensaver. And it has this sort of like automated artistic feel, and sort of what you put into it is what you get out of it. So I would say that in general is the audio aesthetic of Deadmau5, of these last two tracks, and the most of this album. I suppose the third part of a trilogy of stuff that probably sounds the same. I think he's released 3 albums since I started doing this show. I mean, the guy just cranks out music, And I think partly it's because he doesn't have to spend that much time. It's just goofing around. But he's not trying to like make pop music. He's not trying to do stuff that's going to make him like a gajillionaire with like little hooks or anything. He just has this sort of neutral style. And for the most part, I enjoy it. Like I'll listen to this again. For the same way that I would watch a screensaver. Like, it's enjoyable. It's nice atmosphere. He sets a mood and he maintains it, even if there's all these different artists on here. It's fairly pleasant. I will end with saying that the first track is a little bit of an exception. That gets the Skye stamp. It's called Phobia, and that's the most promising. Like, if it was a whole album of this, I'd be super excited. Like, this is a great techno EDM album. Starts off with this kind of, I call like a helicopter synthesizer. It's like whoa, 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 whoa. Really intense, gritty, grimy sound. It's very textured and layered with other synthesizer pieces. And then like there's complete silence. And there's kind of like a chime synthesizer, do, 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 do. And then it comes back in, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's a nice, actual dynamics in this techno song. Occasional distortion. Eventually, it cuts out and it's just the chimey part. And it builds up a lot of anticipation because you know that the helicopter's coming back soon. Do, 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 do. It's nice and quiet. And then eventually, whoa, 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 comes back and completely subsumes that chime. And then the chime comes up for like a second. Do, 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 do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And so it's kind of nice. My kids are doing a good job of not laughing at me making all these noises. Not that good of a job. And eventually, like these snare hits come in, and they kind of like double up. And the hi-hat, there's like a hi-hat, and the snare keeps on pitching up, and it builds a lot of really nice tension. And it's not quite as background atmospheric as the rest. So my 3-word review is pretty easy, Screensaver trance. That's how it feels. But it's a good screensaver, and I like it. And today's the Super Bowl. And for the Super Bowl, I always get coconuts when I eat a coconut on the Super Bowl. So that's why these are here. You should pick up that tradition. And this is a shirt that says yeet. I don't know what it means, but my kids think it's funny. All right. Until next time, episode 70. There's the camera.